The place nor time to reel off rhyming diction, but yet we'll write a final rhyme while waiting crucifixion. For we bequeath a parting tip of sound advice for such men who come across in transport ships to polish off the Dutchmen.
Hey gang, you intrepid Boer War enthusiasts, we're back on track. We're the meat and potatoes of the channel, really, our Boer War stuff. We're off to Tasmania. I've just had the car searched by Tasmanian customs before we're allowed to board the boat. So they actually want to confiscate. I'll show it to you guys, my trademarked stick-o-matic. I'll show it to you. There's that stick. That stick holds up the boot because the struts have lost their gas. And the customs lady said that Tasmania may not allow sticks to be imported. Oh, look at that. Anyway, massive operation here. Massive. You know, the size of the boat. It's just after 4:30 and we depart at, I think, 6:45. Cross Bass Strait. I've got a cabin, but on the way back I'm going to do it just in the upright recliner chairs, because otherwise it would have been $1,000 this trip. As it is, it's about $600 for, you know, put my car on, cabin over there, and then, as I said, recliner on the way back. So yeah, and it's probably gone up again in price since the you know, the business in the Middle East. Depends how far ahead you book, whether it's school holidays, one of you or more, you know. Anyway, I'll go stretch my legs. Got plenty of time now, and I'll speak to you guys again once we're aboard the boat. The cars are starting to move. We're going to be going up that massive concrete ramp up onto the Spirit of Tasmania. Thought you guys might want to see the entry into the bowels of the boat. It's a massive enterprise. You're allowed to take stuff on board. I'm just taking this overnight bag, laptop, Mussolini, he's part in my downfall, and you know, some money to have dinner, and I noticed there was a few movies showing. Most of them are kids movies, but there was the new Frankenstein monster, The Bride, but nah, I'm not going to do that. Oh, I've got a couple of things on my laptop that I might watch. I've got the Marx Brothers Duck Soup and The Deer Hunter, which I've never seen. So if I need entertainment during the night, yeah, I'm right for that. Alright, well, our lane's not moving yet, so we'll stop for the moment. Right, we've come up the ramp, and it's very well organised, very smooth transition. You need to be good with your clutch work, guys. There's some hairy moments. Oh, orange man in orange vest. Right. Uh-oh. That was a bit hairy. Right, park it there, mate, he said. Alright. Okay. I've got to make sure I take everything that I need to spend the night on the boat. Alright, well that went pretty well, guys. As I said, bit of clutch work. I was trying to calculate the amount of years I've been driving, and I think I've got the idea by now. Alright, let's go on board. So this is the cabin. I love this window, the port window. Yeah, alright, should be alright. Feel the bed. Yep, solid, firm. And then I guess this is your little loo, is it? Or what have we got in here? A little loo and even a shower. Oh, that's brilliant. Alright, well it's now 5:20, so we depart in 6:45. So I guess you go for a wander around now, have a look around, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Alright, I thought I'd bring you guys out onto the deck. Out there is the murky black waters of Port Phillip Bay. That way is Bass Strait. I've got to say I'm a little bit shaky on the legs. The old sea legs have yet to be kicked in. Jetty Carter coming at you from the spirit of Tasmania in the cabins there, or the dining area, cozy, people sipping on wines and beers and good things. I had a nice meal, a bit of everything really, roast beef, some musselman curry, some chips, some veggies steamed, and I came to about $40. It's all cashless. I'm glad I knew that. I had to go put money on my card because old Chetty Carter doesn't do the tap and go thing very often. I'm reminded of the ship going across to Durban, you know. It had like a wooden railing along it, and when we were halfway over, we left Port Melbourne, halfway to Durban, there was always something going on the ship, you know. Every night there was fancy dress parties, or you know, there was a chess competition that Dad won. There's a photo of Dad receiving an award from the captain of the ship. That red light going? Must be a buoy. But anyway, yeah, there was a disco or something one night. That's right, they were selling like fish and chip packets on the deck. Little, you know, newspaper wrappings of fish and chips, and this guy sat on the edge of the railing, and his mates threw him his packet of fish and chips, and he leant backwards to catch it, and he went over, and the ship circled for a day or two looking for him, but they never found any evidence of him. I've often wondered who he was and tried to look up the SS Southern Cross, probably June of '71, who went overboard. That's the sort of feeling I'm getting being on the ship. I did take the seasick pill because I was feeling a bit funky not long after getting on board. It might have been the drive, or I didn't have much to eat or drink during the day, but yeah, I felt a bit weird, so I took a couple of the seasick tablets. They seem to have worked. I don't know if that's Geelong over there, probably. I don't even know which way we're going. I don't even know if we are going, but I think we are. But the other thing you can hear is all the doggos down the holding bay. They've got dogs in kennels down there that are travelling to Tasmania with their owners, and they're howling like the hounds of hell. I think I'll be hearing them. Here's another red thing. You seem to be okay. Either it's moving or we are. It's hard to say. But yeah, it's flashing at us. I'm pretty sure we're moving. So we must be going that way, out to sea. It's going to get choppy when we're out there. We'll be facing the ominous, dangerous Bass Strait. The lifeboat up there. Hopefully that's not required. But alright, I'm reading this book. It's excellent. I found a beautiful reading area before. Beautiful big comfy leather seats. Sitting reading my book, having a black coffee. Alright, I'm back inside now. Alright, I'll talk to you soon. Chetty Carter. Good morning, folks. There's a flurry of activity all around me as we've docked in Devonport, and we'll be getting out of the or getting off the boat shortly. Finding my car again was a little difficult. I forgot to take note of the deck I was on as far as parking goes. Anyway, it's all sorted now. Chetty Carter. And yeah, it was quite a it was a hard night. It was really hard to sleep in there. The bunks quite hard, small, narrow, and it was really hot. I don't know if I did fiddle with the heating a little bit on the wall. I don't know if I turned it up to full blast. It was really hot, so I couldn't sleep till about 2 a.m. I watched Duck Soup with the Marx Brothers and tried to sleep then watched The Deer Hunter. So yeah, good film. I'd never seen it before. So today, well, first thing, once we get off this boat into Devonport, I've got to head to Ulverstone. That's where our first Boer War destination is. And some stage, it's about 6:30 in the morning. Some stage I'll wake up and then look at my map and see sort of the distances we're going to travel, and I might make a hot cup of tea or something. Wake me up a bit. Alright, stay tuned. In a letter from Mortimer, dated Friday the 10th of May, 1901, Private Harry Blackburn of the 2nd Tasmanian Imperial Bushman gave a clear lead-up to the fight with Commandant Skeepers. Quote, on Wednesday last week we left Craddock for a farm situated about 5 miles to the southwest, where it was reported that the Boers were encamped. On the following day, a small patrol consisting of 4 Tassies went among the hills and saw a Boer spy about 800 yards off and put a few shots after him without effect. As the country was very mountainous and rough and more or less scrubby, scouting was very dangerous, and the patrol returned to camp. During the afternoon, a party of 8 men of Colonel Scobell's regiment were captured and sent back stripped of their clothing. Every day news came of the Boers firing on small parties, but we could not get sight of them. On Saturday, the Boers, numbering 250, blew up the line about 20 miles south of Craddock at a place called Mortimer, and also destroyed a train. The first thing on Sunday we were ordered down to protect the line and camped at Limebank about 5 miles off. On the following morning, 2 patrol parties of 40 from each company were sent out but did not see anything. That night we were all roused up at 1 a.m. to sleep in the trenches, as news came from all quarters that the Boers were advancing on us, but nothing came of it. Next day, Lieutenant Bisbee, VC, and a number of men were dispatched to the northeast, where they located the Boers amongst the hills and returned in the afternoon. On Wednesday afternoon, the Boers cut the wires and made another attempt to blow up the line but failed, and then passed up a donga. 3 small patrols were sent out next morning to search the country, and Lieutenant Blythe, with 15 men and the same number of CIVs, picked up the Boer tracks and followed them. The enemy, seeing them, went into a couple of thick dongas and waited. They allowed the advance party to pass, and when the main body were about 30 yards off, they opened fire. The engagement lasted for about an hour and a half, and when the men managed to retire, they found that 2 of their numbers were wounded and 2 missing. 4 horses were killed, and the CIVs also lost a number of their horses. Our men could not return the fire owing to the position of the Boers. When the first volley was fired, Private Warburton, who was cut off from the main body, received a bullet to his forehead. Private Sanderson was knocked off his horse by a bullet which grazed his head, and Private Burton was slightly wounded in the cheek. When Warburton got shot, Corporal Brownell, who was with him at the time, saw very little chance of escape and shot both his own horse and Warburton's for cover. The Boers then advanced from all sides, but 2 of them fell victims to Brownell's aim, one being shot through the stomach. Brownell still kept firing until his cartridges gave out and he was forced to surrender, just as a bullet passed through his tunic sleeve. The Boers then stripped him of his clothing and let him go. Warburton was then brought in, but he died the following morning, May the 9th. Was given a soldier's funeral. He was greatly respected by all in camp and will be sadly missed by all his comrades. The 2 missing CIVs turned up at night. On the following morning, our division, under Lieutenant Richardson, went to the scene of the previous day's fight, where we again located Boers. We found that the advance guard of the main body were right in the midst and completely surrounded by the enemy. There was only one thing for it, and that was the advance to run the gauntlet of about 1/4 of a mile. They were followed hotly by the Boers, but our division was in readiness and gave them a reception. When they were about 150 yards off, we opened fire, which completely surprised them, and for the next half hour the firing was very heavy on both sides, but luckily our men escaped unhurt. While several of the enemy were wounded, the main body then came to our assistance, and Lieutenant Bisdee's men protected our right, and we then succeeded in driving the enemy off, and within 2 hours' time not a Boer rifle could be heard. Having no artillery, we could not follow up our success, so we returned to camp again. Hi guys, Teddy Carter, coming at you live from Ulverstone, Tasmania. And you can, I suspect, pick up on the heavy rain. It's, I was going to, I'm in Anzac Park. There's a monument just down there, up against that, it could be a river or an inlet. We're right on the coast, up the top of Tasmania, so to the left of Devonport. I think this is probably the road to Burnie. I was going to just get my chair out and put my little cooker on and make a cuppa, but that's not going to be all that comfortable. If I try and get down there, I might have to just wait for a few moments and try and see if we get a break in the rain and get down and have a look for our first Boer War monument. Okay, we're at Anzac Park. What possibly could be a first for your roving Boer War reporter, Teddy Carter. I just saw a very sodden seagull, absolutely drenched, which gives you an idea of the rain. And I have employed Das umbrella, which is a first, but actually, oops, as I walk, the rain seems to be laying off a little bit. I could, I was going to say I could bring my gas cooker down here and make a cuppa under this little pavilion, but I think I could do it in the car park up there. But this is looking very promising. If it's not Boer, it's World War One. It looks promising. there are signs and flags trying to keep me out. That's not going to work. Not going to keep me out. But yeah, beautiful morning. The rain you kind of expect. Oh look, there's trees along here. That one is marked as Gallipoli. So we're on the path of the Tasmanian Imperial Bushman. This stone wall has a few. Oh, there's actually an RSL here in Ulverstone. This is what I'm going to try and do a bit differently, is maybe go into RSLs and ask if they've got anything. Oh fuck. I'm ignoring the flag stuff. I think they're doing the gardening, or they're replanting grass or something. Maybe that's why they're trying to keep people out. There's some rocks that are assigned various missions, combats. But this is the baby we want, I'm thinking. And if it's what I'm hoping it is, we're not going to roll. The suspense. The suspense, folks, is killing me. If this is Boer, if this is Johnny Boer, I'm a very happy. Oh yeah, come on guys, look at this. What a beaut. What an absolute beaut. The 3rd Battalion, the Empire. So in memory of the Tasmanian soldiers of the 3rd Battalion District who gave their lives to the Empire in South Africa, 1900-1901, Captain A.A. Sale, Troopers Barker, Brown, Gillum, Lett, McLaren, Orr, Fagan, lest we forget. There's the slouch hat. I think I can even take the umbrella down. Umbrella's a bit pansy, but that's me. Slouch hat with the feather, and then the crossed sabres. Oh man, that's magnificent. Oh look, look, look. Crossed 303. That might be Metford. Oh, the rain's coming down a little bit again. So very scant on detail about these men who lost their lives. Tasmanians did some great work over in the Boer War. I think they came up from Cape Town, worked towards a relief of Kimberley. I'll get some photos, and I'm very happy. This is a brilliant. And by the way, it's made by Wilmot stonemasons, Launceston. I'll get some photos, and we'll make a cuppa. Just give you guys a little bit of the scenery. There's a fast flowing river. I think the beaches over there, they look like fishing boats. Ulverstone. And yeah, it's a grey, cold morning, Sunday morning in Tasmania. And I'm a very happy camper, because the very first monument we get to on this excursion for a week. I'm here for a week. I was just thinking earlier, I've got to take things a bit slower. I'm loving that. Loving that. The oak leaves at the top above the crossed rifles. Yeah. As happens a lot. I seem to be quite a lucky person. So the rain has kind of lifted a bit now. I might be able to make myself a cuppa up in the car park. Even get my chair out. I mentioned to you guys, I don't know if I did, but I think I did, that we're going to confiscate my stick. I've got a stick in the boot that I use to prop up the back hatch because the struts don't work anymore, and there's been times I thought I was going to be decapitated. So they made a note of my stick for Tasmanian biosecurity. And some concern on my part that they might take me stick, but no, nothing like that. Here's some names of guys. I don't think they've died in war. I think they just got old. They're probably members of the RSL here, and they've passed on. Natural causes. Now this is difficult for me to get my legs up this high because I've got bad arthritis in the hip. Oh. Okay. So I'm even able to put the umbrella away. One wonders if these trees might have been planted. That one's a Gallipoli pine, but what about these others? This big one could be a could have been planted for the relief of Mafeking or Ladysmith. Oh man. Well, I'm lucky that I didn't get soaking wet. I don't really have much in the way of wet weather gear. I don't even know where I'm spending the night. I've got it highlighted on the map. I think distances are going to be relatively small around here. So it's not like, those trips I did up, when was it? Last year. Covering 400 or 500 kilometres a day up through Mudgee and Gunnedah up towards Tenterfield. I did long distances, not so for this place. But I'm expecting some stunning scenery along the way. Alright. Well, if the rain holds off for a little bit, I'm going to get my cooker out and do a cup of tea. Talk to you later. Hi guys. That was fantastic down there at Anzac Park. I got my chair out. I made a brew. I bought this little radio last time when I went up to Tenterfield. I found that at night time it was a bit I got a little bit boring, to be honest, so I bought this little radio. It's just a AM FM, beautiful little radio. It looks great. I just put some batteries in and I listen to a bit of music, a bit of Talking Heads while I made a cup of tea overlooking Anzac Park where the Boer War monument was. Fantastic. But this is Ulverstone. It's only about 8:30, 8:45 on a Sunday morning. But this is the RSL. I very much doubt there'd be anyone here. But I'm going to try and hit up RSLs, which is something I haven't done before, because they might have some goodies in there. But this is very art deco. I found myself saying that a lot in the paint selection, and the looks like it used to be I was going to say a picture theatre, but I don't know now, because it's got 1918, 1914, 1918. Maybe it was always a soldiers returned league. There's an antique shop up here. Look, there's dogs in the back there, about to bark at me. Yeah, and this trip is going to be relying on going to a few churches to find the stuff, a few schools. So finding places open might be a little difficult. I do like antique and collectible shops, although what they have in the window here isn't my idea of something I'd have any use for, but it's very shiny stuff, isn't it? And that punch set could be Boer War, could be toasting the boys before they head off to Pretoria. Well, they open at 10 AM. Oh man, they got heaps of stuff in there. What's the time? It's only 8:30. Alright, well I better not get too carried away. But I love this sort of weather. I don't like being drenched. I have my clothing soaked, but I like a sort of rainy, misty Sunday morning. Look at the size of those ferns, eh? I'll have a look at our next destination, because I'm tempted to go back to that collectibles antique shop, but that's a bit mad. Where would I put the stuff? That's the thing, eh? No indications of when the club would be open, but Sunday mornings you're pushing it. There's the Ulverstone courthouse. This would be the council chambers. Sad little bunny there. What's up, mate? No one loves him. I'm tempted to grab him, but I don't think I could give him a good life. He's better off to sit there until some kiddie adopts him. And the Ulverstone Library. Alright,